My therapist called CPS on my parents after our first session. I didn't even tell her the worst parts. When Dr. Miller asked what brought me to therapy, I said the safest thing possible: anxiety about college applications. It was partly true. I was 17 and terrified about my future, just not for the reasons she might assume. I didn't mention how my father burned my acceptance letter from state because no daughter of his would waste his money on an art degree. I didn't mention my mother's collection of my childhood awards that she'd tear up one by one whenever I disappointed her. These were just normal family disagreements, right? I thought I was being careful during that first session. I talked about school pressure, mentioned in passing that my parents had high expectations. Dr. Miller nodded, asked gentle questions. When she asked about my sleep, I admitted I sometimes went days without it. My parents believed sleeping more than 5 hours showed lack of ambition. When she asked about eating habits, I hesitated before admitting dinner was often withheld until homework was perfect. It's motivation, I explained, the same words my mother used. Dr. Miller's expression never changed, but she wrote something down. I panicked, worried I'd said too much, and spent the rest of the session talking about normal teenage stuff: prom stress, AP classes, college essays. 2 days later, a CPS worker showed up at our door. My parents were experts at appearances. The house was spotless, their smiles practiced, their explanations reasonable. We have high standards, but we support her completely. My father even showed the worker my college fund, an account I never knew existed. The CPS worker left satisfied. My parents waited exactly 30 minutes before calling me downstairs. Your betrayal has consequences, my father said calmly, placing my laptop, phone, and sketchbooks into a trash bag. No college until you prove your loyalty. For 3 weeks, I had no contact with the outside world. I missed school, missed therapy appointments. I wrote false diary entries about my wonderful parents in case anyone checked. I stopped sleeping altogether, terrified of what might happen if I closed my eyes when I finally returned to school. Dr. Miller was waiting. She'd reported my absence to the principal. Before I could speak, she handed me a sealed envelope. This isn't from me, she said carefully. A former patient wanted you to have this. Inside was a burner phone, $500 cash, and a bus ticket to my aunt's city 3 states away. The aunt my parents told me had died years ago. There was a note. I was you 10 years ago. She's waiting for you. Leave tonight. I almost threw it away, convinced it was a trap, but something made me call the number for my dead aunt from the school payphone. She answered on the first ring. Emma, is that you? I've been looking for you for years. Her voice, so similar to my mother's but gentler, broke. Something in me. She told me how they'd cut her off when she tried to report their behavior, how she'd been searching more than they found identity documents that I'd hidden under a floorboard years ago. My aunt met me at the bus station with tears and open arms. It's been 6 months. I'm finishing high school here, applying to art schools with my aunt's blessing. I still flinch at loud noises, still hide food in my room, still struggle to sleep more than a few hours. But yesterday I fell asleep on the couch during a movie. Mintiel's vulnerable, completely safe. When I woke up, my aunt had covered me with a blanket and left the lights on low, not to check if I was really sleeping, but because she knew sudden darkness frightens me. Sometimes it's a therapist who sees what you don't say. Sometimes it's an aunt who never stopped looking. And sometimes it's yourself at 17, finally brave enough to get on that bus.